All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, routinely late, a couple of minutes, but thanks for sticking with us. Welcome to the Monday Blues 2024 Carlton home and away season review. Doing something a little bit different here. George, joined by Andy. How's it going, mate?
Good, mate. Good. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thank you, mate. We're finals.
Wait,
Finals.
don't about final. Where is everyone?
Where is everyone? That is a question.
I know Carl's got a reason. That's Moose uploaded a picture at the gym doing his Derrimut modelling shoots about half an hour ago. So I don't know.
We are second priority to the gym for Mr. Musk. Just bait him in the comments, but we might be having a late appearance.
He just sent a photo. He just sent a photo. He goes, right here, are you? We sent in the group, where are you? And Moose just sent that. So
Lies. Now, hopefully we get maybe a couple join us soon. Emal's a late out, but we've got it building up in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. Something a little bit different today. We'll be having a light-hearted conversation, a few questions about the season. Urge you guys to join in as well in the chat. That's what makes the show great. Loved this from Scotty, by the way, and great seeing you on Saturday night. We'll touch on the live show, but hey, fellas, power's out until Wednesday in God's country. I'm using my last 1% battery to make sure that Moose knows I have something very important to tell him, and that's and he's cut out. That's brilliant. Cam Bayer, shout out to you, Cam. Thank God you guys are doing this. I was going through Monday Blues withdrawal. A few people asked us what we're going to do this Monday, and in completely unorganized fashion, I think we only decided about 5 hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So this is unscripted, unplanned, as is 95% of our stuff anyway. So
absolutely. How was your week off, Georgie?
The week off, it was nice. It was nice. It was nice to. I think you called it last week. You said, the players obviously need a week off. The club, everything around the club, and we need a week off. I think that was great. It was nice to have, just a mellow weekend, not having to, wake up on game day, analyze everything, freak out on the way to the game. It was chill and it was good. We went to TJP live show. Shout out to those boys. We'll talk about that. But how was your weekend, mate? How was your week off?
The week off was good, man. I think I needed it. I think I really needed it. Like, I'm glad there was a break because, last Sunday was such an emotional roller coaster that I felt like there was a come down after it, for a few days. Just, things felt, it was a really intense day. And I really enjoyed chilling out. I watched the women's on the weekend. We're still shit in the women's, which is disappointing because, we're a foundation side. So, it's very disappointing, the women's. And hey, but it was good to have some kind of footy on. Obviously, the jumper punch event on Saturday night was great. I saw a few people in there in the chat. I saw Tracy Reed, champion lady, Scotty Tompkins, absolute legend. There were heaps of people that came to us. So, it was great. Zach was there as well. So,
yep. On your Zach. Aiden.
The OG, the young boy. That was good. My week off was good. I'm excited now, though. Now I'm excited. Now it feels like finals, like this is where we belong. This time of year is exactly where we belong. So just keen, bro.
Absolutely spot on. I think it kicked off, went to the open training with Carl on Saturday morning, and it felt like, what it felt like 12 months ago before the Swans game where, a bit of finals fever in the air. Who's this? Shout out Morris. Good to see Morris. We went with Morris to TJP. Hi, George and Andy. I'm going to the cinema tomorrow night. Morris, what are you watching, mate? What are you watching? I'm going to go.
Speaking of,
yeah,
we got the pleasure of meeting Oz. So Oz, if you're here, if you're in the chat,
there he is.
He actually is Oz. Absolute legend.
Great to meet you, Oz. Champion. It's so nice to we discussed it, right? The benefit of going live is that we've we've met this Carlton, sort of build this Carlton community. We share a lot of viewership with TJP, but to meet so many people that we know just by username in person, how great is it? So
absolutely,
shout out Oz, good to see you there. Mahmoud as well. We saw Mahmoud as well.
Yep.
I'm going to go through some of the comments. Can buy at this point. Got to change your YouTube name to the Late Monday Blues. Absolutely. Ramsey Saab, change it to the Tuesday Blues. Tracy Reed, good evening, George and Eddie, and of course, chat. Great to see you, Tracy. Great chatting with you on Saturday night. Brandon Drinkwater, Moss is doing manpower posters. Zach, great to see you at the live show. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Zach.
Catrick, is Musa Dermot? Tell me I'll go for a drive and pull him up in priorities. Absolutely, he's a Dermot. He's the face, right? Yeah, look, I think the sorry, Eddie.
I said that's his gym.
Jay Baggers, shout out to you. My son played a starring role in a junior grand final Sunday. Best Father's Day gift ever. Back to business with the Baggers. We are winning. Well done, mate. That's great to hear. Congrats.
Well done on your lad, Josh.
Love to hear it. Saturday open training, just kicking off with that.
Shout out Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
In the chat as always, doing some renovations on his house. I've caught up with him a couple of times. I actually caught up with him and the other day, Friday night, I think, knocked off from work a bit early. Went past, he's renovating a house around the corner for me, and sat down and I was just listening to him tell me stories from back in the day. And because he did security at Princess Park, and he was telling me the different coaches and how the different coaches would be, and some great stories. So always good to catch up with Uncle Sam.
Love to hear it. I miss going to games. That was childhood, right? Like going parking. There was a Kmart around the corner. I think it's still around. The Kmart around the corner. Park there, walk with my big foam finger and flag. Big mum, and
you were that guy with the finger.
I was that. Yeah, finger, flag. I was that annoying kid. Just if you see a chubby kid in the front row with a big foam finger.
Love it.
Yeah, that was good times. Good times. Before we go into the show, 68 online. Thank you guys for tuning in, especially on a non-review 70 we've ticked over now on a non-review show. Appreciate you all. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. More than welcome to subscribe. It really helps us out. We really appreciate the support. And a big thank you as well to BluesCrypto.com, our sponsor. Had the pleasure again of seeing Ur, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who went to the TJP show as well caught up with Ur as well. The man behind Blues Crypto, the fan token by Ur Koken, as Paul coins it. Love that term. So whether you're a seasoned investor, whether you're new to cryptocurrency, it's an innovative way to connect with your team while also being part of the crypto market. Ur is an absolute gentleman, very, very generous man as well. It was great to see him sponsor not just TJP's live show event, but get amongst it. He's into the been into the crypto game for a long time, got an IT background, so he's an absolute gentleman and a really intelligent bloke. If you haven't yet, check out BluesCrypto.com. All the socials are within there, Telegram group, Twitter. He's also got the Ask Me Anything sessions on Wednesdays as well on YouTube. So welcome to have a chat with him, and very approachable guy and a great Carlton man as well. So thank you, Ur and Blues Crypto, for getting around us. Check them out. And actually, speaking of that, I've just seen him in the chat there. There he is. Hello, gents. Good to see you guys again. Live show. Absolutely, absolute gentleman. Funkster, Yasu Boys, best live show on a Monday night. Thank you, sir. We shall. I was gonna say, great to see the turnouts on Saturday, and it was good timing. So AFLW team trained at 8:30 to 9:30. Boys came out, and by the time they finished autographs and photos and whatnot, they had just walked out, and it started raining, so it was perfect timing. Great to meet some familiar new faces there as well. And then shout out to the boys at Jump Punch. Great live show. How good was it hearing from Heath Scotland and Simon Wiggins as well? Some great insight into the footy club.
Really good hearing them talk. I feel like they hung around a bit too. So it wasn't just they're just going to rock up and do an interview and just go. Nah, they answered questions. They were both amazing insight. yeah, it was a great night overall. But yeah, hearing those two talk, it was awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they'll probably post it soon, so I won't give too much away. But definitely check them out on the Jump Punch on their socials and YouTube. Keep an eye out for it. Oh, Leo, you want to read that one out?
No, no, I'm in.
Lebowski 89, George, Andy, are you going to grab those $895 Signature Series AFL card packs about to release? Lebowski, I haven't told the missus how much they are. I just said that there's a new card set coming out. You've completely thrown me under the bus here because he's watching this, and I'm sorry. Yes, we are. I can't not, right?
Yeah.
But how good. So Supremacy is coming out in a couple of weeks' time. Keep an eye out on the channel, on our channel. Maybe Jump Punches as well. We might do something together. Really, really cool cards. And I'll tell you what, I think it's the Walsh Doherty Cripps triple jersey patch card. My God.
I'll do anything for that. I'm just saying.
All right.
Oh, wait,
Zach. No, they absolutely were in slot 4. What have you got there?
What am I doing?
Which one are you highlighting?
That one.
Hayden. Head gets shaved Thursday. So what's the agreement now, Andy?
Well, I don't know. We said we'd run a like a charity donation thing to any charity he wants. Aiden actually said if we make finals, this is before the West Coast game, he would shave his head. Well, he said absolutely, we'll get you on, we'll shave your head. And yeah, so anything you guys want to donate on Thursday, or it'll be Wednesday this week, I think. There's a game on Thursday.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm unsure. We'll figure it. We'll confirm, but
we'll figure it out. Keep your eye on our socials anyway. So yeah, anything that we receive in video donations or whatever, will go to any charity that Aiden decides to donate to. We'll just go ahead and donate that. So good cause. And yeah, great guy, Aiden. So sticking to his word.
Good bloke. Lebowski, I'm copping it right now because I've just got a message from the missus saying $895 exclamation mark question mark.
No.
So once I get off this stream, it's going to be a tough conversation. But anyway, moving on. We're going to go through a few questions. Going to rattle out a few questions, and then me and Andy will answer them. But keen to throw it to the chat as well. Keen to get your thoughts. So we're not going to go round by round. We're just going to talk about the season as a whole. A few questions encompassing the year that's been so far. Keen to really discuss together your thoughts on this, and I'm just gonna actually hit it with before I hit it to the first question really quickly. AA All Australian, congratulations to Jacob Wiedering on the first jacket, which is brilliant, and Cripper of course as well. How good was it seeing them two with the jackets?
Oh, bro, awesome. Awesome. Much deserved. Like the most deserved thing ever. But you know what, bro? All these individual accolades, I've said this all year, they don't hit anymore. I want a premiership. I'm sick of, good on him. Like, good on Weeders, good on Cripper, all that. That's great for them. It's time for a premiership, boys.
Yep.
It doesn't, I don't care anymore. Like, honestly, I genuinely don't care anymore about these individual awards. Like, I know people are going on about Cripper winning the Brownlow, and yes, it'll be great. You know what I mean? And like, mate, I'm not gonna lie, put my hand up. I've got money on it, so I hope he gets up as well. But how good would it be to say, he's a premiership player? 5-time All Australian, premiership winner. That's the one. Like for me. That's what I want. That's what we need. So,
absolutely. I think you and I and everyone included watching along and all the Carlton fans would trade in all these individual accolades for the team's success. So, yep, Coleman's, Brownlows, All Australians, fantastic. Great achievements, individual recognition. Flag any day of the week. Big shout out to Tracy Reed. Thank you so much for your generosity and donation. Lovely to meet you both, a class gentlemen. Lovely evening. Absolutely was. On your Tracy.
Tracy's a legend.
Yeah.
Tracy saved me from getting arrested one night. I can't tell the story.
Yeah, we won't tell the story, but Tracy literally saved you from possible jail time.
Absolutely. So thank you, Tracy. I'm forever in your debt.
Absolute legend, Tracy. Oz, got some photos of you guys in Heath, Scotland, Simon Wiggins at TJP Live Show number 2 on Saturday. Thank you, Oz. Appreciate your generosity as
Thank
always.
you, Oz.
Great to see you.
Absolute legend.
Great
to
to
meet you. Yep.
Now, going into the first question, BNF, right? I just spoke about AAs, but BNF, best and fairest. I think it'll be a relatively straightforward one, but who's your tip, Andy?
I mean, Cripper for me. I'll tell you who's going to poll really, really well this year as well. It'll be Nick Newman. I feel like Nick Newman. I think Cripper gets it. I think we should talk about who's going to, because I think we're all going to be quite unanimous with saying Cripper's going to win. Maybe let's go like our votes. Let's go a 3-2-1. Right? I mean, Cripper's obviously going to get, going to be first. Second place, who do you think? And third place, who do you think? And that's open to the chat as well. I think Newman gets some votes. I think he'll poll really well. And I think Weeders again. I think Weeders again will get some votes as well, personally. But yeah, I think it's Crippers. How about you?
Yeah, of the very same thought, maybe swapping potentially 2 and 3. Cripper, I think, is going to be a shoe-in. I think Walsh will poll very well. You saw it in the coaches' votes as well. He was doing quite well, but then tapered off quite a bit, of course. So he was, I think he was 5th or 6th in the coaches' votes and then tapered off. I think Weeders and then Newman probably will round out the top 3.
Yep.
In the chat, Newman, Smokey, Cam Byer, Lebowski, Newman will poll, but goes under the radar a lot, absolutely. Cripps seems to be, so Zach Sooney, Cripps winner, second, Newman, third Weeder. So yeah, a lot of similar ones. Aiden, 1 Cripps, 2 Newman, 3 Hewitt. First place,
that's a good one.
Wet Man.
I think Hewitt polls really well this year as well.
Yep, it's a good call. Uncle Sam, 1 Cripper, 2 Newman, 3 Walsh. I think Cripper seems to be the unanimous favourite.
I think it's Crippers. I see Jay Taylor in the chat just spinning about Melbourne. Bro, honestly, your team is an absolute shambles. Your team is falling apart, bro. Just don't worry about Carlton, man, because, bro, your team might not win another premiership for a long time.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? I don't think we've heard the last of this Petrarca saga.
Not even Petrarca, bro. I'm hearing stories of Oliver again. Like, I'm hearing horror stories of Oliver.
Oliver's long gone.
I'm talking about just from this weekend. Like, yeah, I'm talking. I'm hearing big stories from Oliver. So, Jay, you just stick to your, I don't know, whatever the Melbourne fans do when. You should be used to not being successful, bro. You come from a team that hasn't even been historically successful. So just worry about your shambles of a football club.
I reckon it's going to come up again come trade week, only because it seemed like a bit of a, gun to the head scenario, that statement. And yeah, look, his words, Petrarca's words as well was, wanting the betterment of Melbourne. And at the moment, that place, I felt sorry when they were raising names like Chera and Mackay to go. Like, wishing someone to go to Melbourne is like torture at the moment, right? Like,
you wouldn't want to. Even in their best times, bro. Why would you want to play in front of 3 people?
And knowing from I can't remember the CEO, the previous CEO, who threatened to expose some of these skeletons and whatnot. They ridiculed him in the media. His name escapes me at the moment. It was a few years ago, but there's skeletons there, right? And I don't think we've heard the last of it. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, Sam just goes whack.
Melbourne haven't won for you, Jay Taylor.
Melbourne haven't won a premiership at the MCG since 1964. Look,
I heard Pickett wants to leave as well, yeah? Or is that just... people
Pickett,
are jumping off that burning building. I'll tell you what, Neil Bullen elected Adelaide.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Pickett's linked to Port.
I'll tell you what, Wood just dropped the gem. Mackay
Mm,
should do well at the best and fairest as well, which I
that's a
totally
great
agree
call.
with.
That's a great call.
Very
Started the
cool.
season on fire. He's been consistently great.
Absolutely.
Great call. Great call. All right. Let's get stuck into the second question. Most improved player. So, Andy, you kick it off and then we'll throw to the chat. Who do you reckon's taken that next step?
Whew. I want to say Elijah Hollands. Ollie Hollands, for me, has improved throughout the year as the years gone on. That's a tough question. Even Lockie Cowan, I feel like Lockie Cowan's improved, but
Cool.
most improved. That's a tough one, man. I'll go with Bubba. I'll go with Elijah Hollands. I thought he was okay at Gold Coast. I could see his value coming in. I wasn't sure exactly if he would fit. But I'm a big believer in the boobs.
He's I'll tell you what, I thought about it with the Petrarca saga going on, and I thought if this guy could get in, using, if any Dragon Ball Z fans out there, the hyperbolic time chamber, just get in a training chamber and just put one or two pre-seasons into the guy, this guy could be anything in that midfield. Don't want to overhype him, but he has got talent, he's got X factor, he can go forward and kick goals, he's a bull in the midfield as well. Give him another year or two. He's only played less games than Ollie. But for me, I've got to go TDK, only because the mid-season form, and we spoke about the big five, and then we said we should start coining it the big six because he's well and truly joined that elite group. And very closely second, I'd say Harry, purely because of his form last year and the turnaround he did psychologically. His goal kicking, alone has to be.
That's what it is for me with Harry. It's his goal kicking. Because I remember having arguments with Moss on this very podcast last year about Harry's output. Moss was saying Harry's a dad. We should trade Harry. Mate, Harry was doing everything around the grounds. He just couldn't finish. And I said last year, and I actually had him to win the Coleman this year. He was my hot tip to make all. Actually, I had Zach Williams to make All Australian. It was looking good for about 2 rounds. It was looking good.
It was going all right when he swung him forward late run.
Yeah. But yeah, Harry and TDK are great calls. Great calls. What's the chat saying?
Throwing it to the chat. There's a few names, which is exciting when you think about it. It's actually exciting. There's a few names here. Sam Crispino, Cowan by a mile. Cam by a Cowan, no question. Lebowski, Mackay is most improved. Couldn't kick a goal in 2023. Can in 2024. I just remember that goal against the second game against Geelong on the boundary. Obviously, the Brisbane one opening round, ice cold. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Aiden, I'm going to say Ollie. Zach goes TDK. Elias goes Moo, goes Cowan. Uncle Sam goes Cowan as well. Oz says Ollie Hollands. Omar, shout out Omar. Mitch McGovern. Patrick Harry's the biggest improved. Morris goes Zach Williams. Hope the hemorrhoids are doing well, mate. I love you, Morris. Morris was such great value on Saturday night. He killed me.
He absolutely was. There's one topic that Morris absolutely loves, and I cannot mention it on the podcast.
No, dude, please. There's 78. There's 78 viewers. I reckon we'll get 70 strikes on YouTube. So do not say those 2 words. Shout out to everyone who's in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Love to have you subscribe as well. The TDK has become a match winner. I love that. Yes, he an extra midfielder, dominant ruck, goes forward, kicks goals. Tracy Reed, I think Ollie for mine. Yeah, so
a lot of people saying Ollie, right?
Yeah,
and I just want to touch on that. I thought Ollie was great last year, right? And I think he's improved throughout the year. I thought he had a bit of a low patch this year, but he's come good at the right end of the season, and I'm hoping he can like even develop further in finals. He was crucial in our semi last year in that last, kind of couple of passages, last few minutes. I think was he sub?
He came, yeah. I'm pretty sure he came on. How good was that last passage of play?
Yeah, it was great. He lost the ball. He lost the ball, and his second effort, and that's his thing. Second efforts, third efforts. You can't fault Ollie Hollands for effort, right? And yeah, I wish some of the older boys would take a leaf out of Ollie Hollands' book. So, really good. Good call outs in the chat.
Yep. Johnny, great seeing you on Saturday night as well, mate. Kemp, Cowan, and Hollands boys. How great is it that there's actually a few names to choose from as well? So, it's been positive.
Boyd as well. I think Boyd had a really good,
almost a forgotten man at the moment, isn't he? Been in and out, and last time we saw him was it the Hawks game? Poor guy. Throwing it the other way, room for improvement. I guess who maybe didn't live up to the hype or the expectations or the unrealistic expectations, perhaps, or maybe just didn't hit that ceiling. This is
going to be a controversial one for me. I'm going to get a lot of hate, and I'm used to it. Paddy Cripps. No, I'm joking.
Oh, wow.
Cripps had a good year. He's had a great year. Charlie Kerner. I mean, we all know his issues this year. I've spoken about it, about my issues with him as well this year. Lack of chasing, lack of desire, playing a quarter a game, breaking the game open in that one quarter. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt now that we know the injuries and, all that he's played with. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But for me, if I had to answer it, gun to my head, I'd say Charlie Kerner. All right. I think he'll come back better. I think a bit of time off, couple weeks off, 3 weeks off. I think we'll do him a world of good. And should be sweet.
Fair call. Look, I think by his standards, I was listening to Voss on 360 earlier. They were talking about, do you rev up Charlie this final series, noting that there was a lot was made that his last final series wasn't maybe what he wanted to be or as effective. And Voss interestingly answered, I'm not going to quote his exact words, but he is something along the lines of, we actually were pleased with his output and what he was able to contribute. He's not going to impact every single game, but what he was able to do was help us win a couple of those games. So it was an interesting one. He's like, I don't think we really need to motivate him. I'll have separate chats. But I guess at the same time, Voss, he's not going to disclose.
No, he's not going to put one of his players on thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else. Jesse Motlop for me as well. I think a lot's being made of Jesse's potential. And I've been a massive advocate for Jesse since day one and just shown nothing. He showed nothing in the VFL. To warrant a call up. We ended up bringing him in because maybe he's an AFL player or whatever, but been a letdown for me.
And that was good call. That was going on to my one. Was Jesse? I think for a couple of reasons. I mean, he did have a few different injuries. So I think it was knee, calf, toe. There was a few different ones that completely interrupted his preseason. But since he's been back, there hasn't really been any form to speak of. Like he hasn't impacted games. He's looked a little bit lost. He's kicked a couple of nice. It was a very important goal, obviously, against the Saints in the fourth. I think he had one against West Coast out the back, but hasn't really impacted games. And look, give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But what he showed last year, especially in the final, the game against Port as well, earlier in the season. Hopefully he can continue that trajectory and take it to another level, because we were all really, really excited for him to come back into that forward line. And I just felt like, he left a little bit wanting. And look, maybe you put it down to the injury, but another one that's been in the chat quite a bit that I'll share a bit is Walsh. Interestingly, Walsh came back like a house on fire. He was unstoppable. Shot, I think it was the top 5 in the coaches' votes after missing the first month of footy. But yeah, it was. We discussed it. Is it the change in the hold and the ball rule? Is it like a lingering back issue? He's tapered off quite a bit. What gives me a bit of optimism is that he seemed to started getting back to some good form last week, and with a week off, going into September now, hopefully we get to see the best of him again. Because I just recall going to the open training this time last year and seeing him take it to another level above everyone else, and he ended up executing that in September. So yeah, I think the last 8 or 9 weeks have just been a little bit lackluster from Sammy, but hopefully again,
sorry, I think you can paint like a lot of players are carrying injuries.
Yep.
Like and it's easy to say injuries are no excuse, right? But that's not us running out there, playing with a bad hip, with a bad back, with a bad foot. So while she has had a down patch, and I think it is a lot to do with injury, and I think it's also, as you said, with that change of rule, I think that's totally just killed his game. It's killed his ability to make a good decision. So he's got good core strength. So he's able to stand up in a tackle. Cripper's adjusted to that rule now, right? But for the first few weeks, Cripper was just getting done holding the ball over and over again. And then when he wasn't getting done holding the ball, him and Walshy were just smashing the ball forward without even looking. And yeah, I think that rule really caused some kind of like shift in the way they think when they have the ball. So I'm glad Cripper sorted it out. Ollie Holland's definitely sorted it out. He was getting caught nonstop. Yep. And he hasn't got that core strength yet to stand up in a tackle anyway. So he was already struggling, like walking that fine line. Yeah, I think the injuries really hurt us this year. I think, a lot of players played because through injuries because we just didn't have the personnel. We don't have the depth. Our VFL is shocking, our VFL team. So, yeah, I don't know. I think
I agree with you there. I think a lot of players would have been playing at 70 or 80 or 90%, and they're thinking, well, I'd rather go in with them than, try maybe an untried player or go through someone that can't, I guess, doesn't have the endurance of 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Just going to be an interesting conversation on Thursday night when team selection happens. But looking at the chat, a few different names here. Aiden goes Motlop, Charlie, Sam Crispino. Charlie's had an off year and hasn't played a convincing game yet. Very interesting. I think you called it before, Andy. He's had great moments and great spurts and quarters, especially coming out of half time. And I remember opening around that third quarter. But as a whole game, struggle to recall compared to last year, that is. Catrick just goes whack. Sard, Akers, Charlie. Sard's had quite a few games where I felt like he wasn't accountable defensively. But
I think that's his whole career, bro. That's Sard's whole career.
Yeah.
And that was the knock on him at Gold Coast. That was the knock on him at Essendon. He doesn't defend, right? So Sard, again, injuries. Bloke copped a pretty serious hammy. He came back in the side definitely not unprepared, underdone. I feel he wasn't sprinting. He wasn't even kicking the ball long. If you remember, he'd have 1 or 2 long kicks a game.
Yep.
He wasn't stretching his hamstring at all. Akers is a weird one for me. I thought Akers had a decent year. I mean, finals Akers is next level, right? Finals Akers last year was something to behold. And if we had won the premiership, I would have demanded a statue for Blake Akers if we had won the premiership last year.
It would only have one arm up because his other arm would be just...
His other arm was just gone.
It was gone.
The poor bloke.
Akers with one arm, Cripps with a mattress. Cripps had his ribs battered. It was, absolutely. We were just limping over the line. What else is there in the chat? Ramsey goes Walsh for me. Lebowski, Jesse Motlop, easy. Kerno's had a form slump, but Motlop was failing to find form in even the VFL. It is a good call. Cam, bit of a double-edged sword here. Ollie may be an improved player, but for me, he's up there with the player that needs to improve the most. I think he's got a great trajectory, and he's a little bit on half back recently. That's been an interesting one. People likening him to a Cade Simpson and a few different, I guess, opportunities and roles, especially if to help Sard out if Boyd's not fit and you're leaving Williams up forward. That's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Holden, Jesse's had an off year. I hope it's just due to injury preseason that interrupted his season. I'll tell you who didn't have an off year, who hasn't had an off night. John winning the triple back-to-back raffles at TJP. John clean sweeped it.
He won first, second, and third prize.
Greatest minute.
Crazy. And good friend of the podcast, Mahmoud, was the only other winner, I think. He won a T-shirt, I think it was.
Yeah.
So congrats to Mahmoud.
Brilliant.
But Johnny Holden absolutely smashed it.
Just back to back to back.
Georgie called it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Andrew Russell.
Russell. Well, no longer.
Room for improvement. Tell you what, he's going to have a lot of time to improve.
I think Paul was saying on Saturday night at the live show, it's interesting that we're probably the only fan base that talks about our strength and... Oh, am I still there?
You just got back yet.
Back? Oh, sorry. Bloody Dodo internet. Paul was saying on Saturday night, I think we're the only fan base that really analyzes our strength and conditioning and talks about, injuries and strength and conditioning coaches and personnel more than anyone else in the AFL.
Can I tell you why?
Do tell.
Because as a fan base, right, we don't barrack for our side. We support our side, right? Our supporters, we've been through hell with this team. So we're across every aspect of this football club as a supporter base. We're not casuals. There aren't many casual Carlton fans. You know what I mean? We don't come So I feel like we're all heavily invested into this team and its surroundings, its coaches, its trainers, its doctors, its medics, its board members, its presidents, its CEOs, it's the barista making the coffee. Like we need to, as a fan base, we've needed to really stick fat with this team. And that's a testament to the supporter base. We are supporters, not barrackers at the Carlton Football Club. So when we have an issue with something at the club, it's as one. You know what I mean? It's not just a select group who might be invested. No, we're all invested into this club. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about the Carlton community. It's a family.
That is a fantastic call. The numbers don't waver. The stats are there. You look at the attendances. You look at the memberships. It doesn't waver. Not knocking any other clubs, but it doesn't waver like other clubs. And knowing a lot of supporters of other clubs, just through meeting people within the footy community, they have this. Not generalizing here, but a few of them have this. Oh yeah, we'd lose, whatever. Just let's worry about next week. Or let's just it's just a game. It's just a game of footy. No, I can't live that way. I don't know how you live that way. I wish I had the ability to switch it off. I'll switch it off for the 6 months that footy's not on. But when they say, whatever, and they turn it off at halftime or 3/4 time, and I get it. Some people have severe anxiety, whatever, can't watch it or. But they switch off and whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go to sleep. I don't care about the result. I can't do that. No, and you're right. A lot of our fans just, we are all in. We're all in.
We're supporters. I've noticed, right, just working where I work at the shop, I get a lot of people, a lot of my customers come in, they have a chat, right, and they barrack for their sides. When their team's up and about, they're I'm going to the game and and then like I noticed it with the Essendon supporters that come into my shop. Wow, first half of the year, you couldn't shut these guys up about their team. They come in, when they've lost a few, and all of a sudden finals isn't a guarantee. Mate, have you been to the footy? Nah, couldn't get around to it. Nah, come on, man. Bro, we're there through thick and thin. We've sat there and watched 100-point loss after 100-point loss, first siren to final siren. You know what I mean? We've sat there for 20 minutes after close games, after games like the Collingwood one, like the St Kilda one. We've sat there for 20 minutes after the siren. without saying a word, we are heavily invested in this football club. And it's not just us. It's all of us. Like I said, this is a family. The Carlton supporter base is a family. And it's unlike any other football club. I don't care what club you bring up. I don't care what colors they have. The navy, blue, and white, and the people that support and represent it are so unique. And we are such a united community. Yeah, we are such a united. At the end of the day, we all love that monogram. That monogram, that monogram, that monogram. We live for that monogram. And that's why we don't shut up about our fitness coaches. That's why we don't shut up about our coaches. That's why we don't shut up about Ollie Hollands. That's why, do you know what I mean? We love the club. We love the team. We support the team. So it's great.
Great, Bill. Well said. Couldn't have said any better. And that's why the media knows it and the media preys on it, because they understand that Carlton equals clicks, right? So
exactly.
They kick off all the footy shows with it generally when there's a bit of news to be had, because it's what gets bums on seats. It's what gets views. It's what gets eyes glued to TV screens. Huss Hamka, thanks for tuning in, mate. Andy, give a pre-game speech. I'm ready to run through a double brick wall after hearing that. I love that. Yeah, look, it's very well said. It's absolutely factual. There is the definition of supporters versus barrackers, and we are, as you've always said, we're not just emotionally invested. We're emotionally heightened about our football team because we love our football team. That's what it is. That's literally all it is. At the end of the day, I think we were speaking to Johnny about it previously as well, and I can't remember who else I was speaking to about it, but about the club has, and keen to get your thoughts on this as well. The club used to be, so growing up, it was a lot more accessible, and I say that by training sessions. I remember Juddy coming into the club. So Dick Pratt came into the club. We went to a family day. He was hanging around the fans or whatnot. It was really good. Got a photo with him somewhere. I think it was about 16 or 17-year-old me, and then Juddy came a few months later.
Picture of you and Dick Pratt.
Me and Dick Pratt. I will share that one day, but that won't see the light of day yet because
share your dick pic, please.
Jesus, it's me with my emo fringe. Anyway, well, great call.
I was just seeing myself out.
Get out. Juddy came to the club, and I remember on the second day, Mum took us to the training session on Juddy's second day, and we just went there, had an open training session, got to go out onto the field, and Juddy's just hanging out with you, and I'm not saying look, it's a different day and age, social media age, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of nutters out there, right, as well. So player safety is paramount. But it was more accessible, and I feel like the club has created, and I don't know if it's an off-field strategy to create this exclusivity to make it a little bit about money. I understand the club is very invested in turning a profit. I understand, the last 15 years have proven that with some of their strategy, but I feel like they've created this exclusivity that's almost even more heightened the emotions of supporters. And there's been a lot of theories. It's about, to keep some of the really heavy Carlton people out, or, the vocal people that don't want to hear the reality of the noise. Some saying it's for financial reasons. Player safety, absolutely. That's another key one as well, because I just feel like in this day and age as well, that's absolutely key and paramount. But yeah, it's an interesting topic.
Lost your camera, Georgie.
Hold on. I'm having a shocker. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
There I am.
There he is.
Absolute shock. I'm just not going to touch any cable. Yeah. Shall we?
So you can almost go the Carlton Football Club with a bit of room for improvement then. Just the way it interacts with its fans and allows its fans to access the club, and maybe not the players, but yeah.
I recall the open training sessions. I'd love a few more of them. I think they only do 2 or 3 a year now or whatnot. There's a family day or whatnot. Yeah. But back in the day, there used to be way more.
Heaps. There was heaps. I remember when I was younger, we'd go to one almost every week.
Yeah. I've got the random 1 a.m. me and Paul Bauer pick I sent you a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Just go and hang out with Paul Bauer at open training.
Let's
go to the next question. What went right
Just before we do, Fake Moose, giving my bottle a shout out.
There it is.
Thank
Hold
you.
on, let me bring it up. Well done, Fake Moose. Andy, tell them the Bottle Pasco Ale. Tell them about the promo.
Yep, Bottle Pasco Vale. Come in 18 Devon Road, Pasco Vale. If you come in, you mention the potty, mention Carlton. Just come in, right? Mention the potty, you get 10% off anything, no limit. Spend $1,000, get $100 off. I'm not even going to argue. I'm not going to try to tell you, nah, just come in. Spend 10,000, get 1,000 off. That's how it is. So, yeah, that's it. Before we go on, actually, I just want to give someone a shout out. My cousin has a bagel shop in Ballarat, right?
Bagels and more?
Bagels and more in Ballarat. Yep. I just want to tell you, I've had these bagels. I've had these bagels many times, as you can see. I'm a big boy. These bagels are next level. And because of the big Carlton fans, massive Carlton fans, because we're in finals, they're doing a special Carlton bagel, right? So you go in, I'll bring it up actually, because this bagel looks fantastic, right? So shout out to my cousin Mimi and Jamil. This bagel, a schnitzel, cheese, bacon, coleslaw, peri-peri, mayo, right? This is amazing. It's called the Carlton bagel. Literally, that's what it looks like. It is amazing, right? And they're doing it in collaboration with us. So shout out Mimi and Jamil. If you're in Ballarat, you want a bagel, head in. You won't regret it.
Great call. We'll have to get the photo and overlay it because it absolutely looked brilliant. So shout out Bagels and More Ballarat.
Killer bagels. Oh, mate. If Ballarat was, wasn't an hour and a half away from us, I'd be there every day.
You wouldn't be on tonight, that's for sure.
They're so good.
Speaking of what went right, what didn't go right, Lebowski, I reckon George is going to have massive off-season improving his internet. Absolutely. Good call. Got to get this new modem. I'll jump on Aussie Broadband. Keep hearing good things about him. John Holden, where are they, Andy? I work in Ballarat.
I will tell you the address. I will tell you. The address is 310 Sturt Street, Ballarat Central. Open 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. 310
Sturt Street. Bagels and more. Get the Carlton bagel.
Absolutely.
So let's go. I love bagels. Can't say the same for Ballarat.
Ballarat's all
right. Let's go what went right. Now, it could be game plan, strategy, anything. What went right in 2024?
What went right? Well, I think what went right early in the year for us was our transition game. So we came into the season knowing our contested game was good, knowing it was probably the best in the league, right? I think we were ranked 1 or 2 for transition or scores from transition, probably a third of the way through the season before things, took a horrible nosedive. And I think we also got, we found a few, we found a few good players. We found, and we mentioned, Ollie and we mentioned Lockie Cowan, but goes back to my most improved, and that's Bubba Hollands. Elijah Hollands for me, like, what a great thing we got right. He's added some composure, a bit of swag to our team as well. And another thing I think we got right, when we were down and we lost those players with injuries, we got those kids to come in, and I'll tell you what, they got it right. They got it right, especially that West Coast game. Obviously, we won. But what the young boys were able to do against the Saints as well, a much better outfit than West Coast. We shouldn't have been that close to them. They should have blown us out of the water. Let's be real. We played with no forward line, played with half a side, and we were a kick away from 10 seconds, 15 seconds away from one of our most famous wins, right? Unfortunately, it didn't go our way, but those young boys took their chances and they got it right. Moya, Lord, Jackson Binns, so yeah, love it.
Great call. And that's similar theme. There's been a few different things. Had transition, had forward pressure was another one of them. I felt like when Fogg was in, Fogg, Owies, Hollands, Elijah, that forward pressure worked really well. I felt like a couple of things stood out for me. The Chincotta patch, the 5 or 6 week patch where he just predominantly played as the tagger and he was shutting down the opposition players. I don't know, we overhype it as well and talking about, he's the best tagger in the AFL at the moment and whatnot, but he done such a brilliant job on immense names. Like it wasn't just a 1 or 2 week flash in the pan sort of thing. He was backing it up and backing it up and backing it up. So I felt like that gave a bit of insight into how we can use different play. Like what you look at that, and then also there's throwing Zach Williams forward coincided with, the shifting of the magnets was I felt like went right, trying different things, and probably also coming out of that much publicized rough patch. They called it, the rough patch versing, the top teams before Carlton has its and famous last words, easiest run home.
Yeah.
Coming out of that patch with the injuries that we had earlier in the season, side was pretty decimated as well. We had over a dozen players there, and still being in the top 4, I felt like was fantastic because then we renewed optimism. You're going into the bye. The second game against Geelong, like that was we're going into it. Again, easiest run home, and with all this optimism, players coming back or whatnot, it was just I felt like we had managed everything up until then very well. I mean, the rest is history so far, but I felt like that was a bright point.
Good call. Great calls.
Let's go to the chat. Cam Byer, I'd say what went right for us is Cripps having yet another Brownlow season, carrying us into finals.
Absolutely.
Cripps just running out away from packs is just a sight to behold this year. It's beautiful.
He looks so much fitter.
Yep.
Healthier. Just,
yeah. Zach, defense holding up. Patrick,
cool.
Moya. Yep. Moya and just holding on to the 8, nothing else. Oz, we won more closer games this year and our transition game was better.
Good call.
Morris, what went right this season? We stopped copying last-minute goals.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We haven't spoken about Akers not getting his customary on the full every game. That went right.
Yeah, it's that did go right. Yeah. He's got his kicking boots.
Johnny Holden, Williams moved forward, went right. TDK's main ruck. Yep, spot on. Lebowski, I think Kennedy's increasing role was something that went right this season. And yeah, Johnny, how fit Cripps looked. Absolutely. Some great calls there. And we've had, I guess, the season's been all about moments, different moments. And hopefully we can talk about a few more really good ones to come in the coming weeks. Plural. But with what went right, we will focus on what went wrong. This is going to be an interesting one. There's already a couple in the chat.
I can pinpoint. I'm just getting straight into it. Sorry, Georgie.
Go. Go get stuck in.
It's just one thing that pissed me off. So I'm gonna add something to it before I mention this the actual thing. 2 years ago when we were vying for finals in 22, Voss made a selection call. Well, the selection committee made a selection call that disturbed something that was working, right? They dropped Silvani when Silvani had been on a great run. First chance they got, they dropped him. And there was a massive outcry. They ended up bringing him back in and making him sub for that game, right? But I felt like the damage was done, right? And there was something different about the team after that year. This year, he drops Georgie Hewitt, brings in Chera, brings in Cottrell, without, getting some game time into him and all that, and got that horribly wrong. Now, I'm not saying that was the reason why, that's the reason why things went bad. And no, we were up by 7 goals in that game against GWS and then lost. But, geez, they got that wrong. That's a massive, massive thing they got wrong. And I feel like things weren't the same since, right? Like maybe Chera was in the mix and then putting Chera at halfback. That's not right. They got that wrong.
Tinkering
with Pitternet while TDK was in the team during that little off patch we had earlier in the year as well, before we went on that 5-game run. Pitto's not the guy, unfortunately. Not for the game style we want, right? Yeah, I think that's I mean, injuries obviously for me. That's something, the strength and conditioning, that's wrong. We got that wrong. Yeah, I don't know. You have a crack. I'll keep thinking.
Yeah, there's many things, right? I think there's many things, but for me, tinkering was second. And look, tinkering can be both good and bad. We've seen, like we spoke of earlier, Williams going forward. Cincotta used as a soul tagger. But I feel like the tinkering that happened when the midfield mix was good and we finally had, felt like we'd struck something really well, especially after that Cats game. I felt like it was ill-timed. I think if they could go back and try that one again, they might make some different calls. But again, that's just us from the outside saying it. Well, before I do answer the fully, let's throw this one. Who from the Monday Blues, fake Moss, by the way, who from the Monday Blues is most likely to perform a citizen's arrest?
Not me, mate. I'll help the bloke get away. Fuck the police. Jokes. We love the police.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon it'll be Amal. I reckon Amal's a snitch. I reckon Amal would absolutely arrest someone with his golf clubs. He will trip him up with his golf clubs.
Just a 9-iron to the shin. Bang.
Just smack him in the shin.
Where do you think you're going? What went wrong for me primarily, going back to it, soft tissue injuries. Injuries in general, but I think the soft tissues. We've had a few contact injuries. I think Fogg's had a couple of contact ones, the ACLs, but the soft tissue ones I think were concerning. Whether that's, there's been so many theories, right? Andrew Russell, strength and conditioning coaches. I brought up, maybe let's look at the players and the off-field disciplines. What about the surface at Princes Park? Maybe that's like, there's so many theories that's come up, but I just feel like that's derailed us with our continuity somewhat.
Agreed.
Let's go to the chat. Catrick, what went wrong? Our 18 on the field are blindfolded because every team has walked from their goal square to kick a goal easily.
Yeah.
Aiden, what went wrong is our complacency with not being able to play the same side each week, changing from what worked to something that didn't work, which stuffs us up. Lebowski, something Vossi wish went right. 2-ruck system. Johnny Holden, we just spoke about this as well. Yep, Cotter's coming in with no VFL form straight in. Chera, I can understand he's on fire prior to injury. Cam Byer, what went wrong is we turned the ball over a lot. We dropped George Hewitt when he was playing well, messed with the working system. That one baffles me. He killed it in the VFL that week as well when he was dropped, came back. He's been so good ever since as well. Oz, constant injuries in our contested game was off this year. Zach, inexperienced with having a full team in the tinkering. Mick OB, Kennedy sub as well. So
I'm not a fan of Kennedy being sub. I'm like, I mean, if you are going to have him as sub, he's a great sub because he can play anywhere. But man, just play the bloke. He's too good to be put on the sub.
Yep. It's the sub one's always an interesting call every time. Again, it's one of those things where before a game we're all just hanging, waiting for who's sub. What have you found, Uncle Sam?
My Uncle Sam has done my head in about Harry's corky. He's like, I've never heard of someone being off for 3 weeks with a corky. It was genuinely upsetting him.
Now I don't know if this is real Moose or fake Moose. He said Harry's soft, get rid of him. It might be real Moose there.
That sounds like real Moose.
That is real Moose. And shout out to Moose, actually, his performance, if you didn't catch it, great Fancast AFL, I think, is the channel on YouTube. It's Fancast, but I think their name on YouTube, Fancast AFL. Check them out. Right after this Saints Carlton game, so they had a Saints fan and Mus joined them as well. So it's good banter, great watch. So on you, Mus, for doing that, and
good
thanks
stuff,
Fancast as well.
Shout out Fancast.
Cool. Nick Fury, losing to Collingwood by a goal in May with Orazia on, Kennedy subbed off for 3.5 quarters was ridiculous. That was almost forgot about that one. Yep. Let's go to something a little bit more positive. Favorite match. So if you could single out a favorite match,
easily, our opening round, going up to Brisbane with yours truly. Me and Georgie went up. It was great. It was amazing. Half time, we were just absolutely copying it from Collingwood supporters, from Essendon supporters, just friends,
from Carlton supporters.
Yeah.
So why'd you go?
Yeah, people were just losing it at us for going, and mate, the way we came back from being 7 goals down, getting up, that feeling of euphoria after the game was next level. It was just fantastic. Harry, never in doubt. I wish I could live that moment again. Like I wish. It was such a good trip. It was just great. Yeah, it was really fantastic. Good. Omar joined us. Omar was with us. Yep, our good friend Omar. He was there. Well behaved this time too. It was awesome. It was so good. What about you, Jordan?
Probably. So that's it's a spoiler for my next question, which is favorite moment, and that is my answer was going to be I'll go to it as the second half against Brisbane in the opening round, which I'll get to. But my favorite game, I actually had two. That primarily it's going to be the Cats game the second time around. So I went with a few work colleagues to that one, and I ended up catching Andy after the game outside Gate 3. But geez, that was something special. Like that after that game, and just everyone getting in. Cowan's goal, Harry pinging them from the boundary line. We just turned it on, and we made them look second rate. And it was at that time that the trajectory of the start of the year where Cats were undefeated, and then we had started slipping, lost a game or two, and then we were again on our positive trajectory, and they were losing a few. And I think we put them down to, I don't know what it was, 8th, 9th, or 10th after that week. But we just, 10-goal win. It was fantastic. And a close second for me was the first GWS game at Marvel, where, if you remember, it was the week after the 2-point loss to Adelaide, where, Matt always, that just sticks with me. But GWS are undefeated. And I think it was the third quarter. I just recall the midfield bullying, just the dominance, and watching it was beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. So good.
Yeah. Let's go to Morris, Patrick have both gone Geelong. I'm assuming it's the second game, of course. Lebowski agrees. Easy, round 15 versus Geelong. We made them think they needed a rebuild. Aiden, opening round. I'm watching it right now. How he came back was unreal. Absolutely. Ooh, I was at the first game as well, best for sure. That one, even the first game of the G against the Tigers, a close finish. It was tense. Uncle Sam, Tom DeConnick versus Sam DeConnick. Yes.
That was great.
Oz, a good call. For me, it was the 1-point win against Melbourne back in round 9 this year. Geez, the nerves in that fourth quarter. Wow.
I was stoned out of my brain for pain meds after my surgery that night. That was a wild night for me. That was a wild night.
Do you know what I love? Is that we can always link back either funny moments, life events, or whatever to game. I always link it back to, like, if it's during the footy season, I link it back to games.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's funny. I was talking to Mars from the Jumper Punch about the night you and I went to Cassian, who's a Australian DJ, and it's linked
July 28th.
forever with July 28th, the night we beat Collingwood last year. And what a night. It was just a great night, from start to finish.
Spot on. Spot on. Cam Byer, loved watching opening round, but for me, the second game versus Geelong when we flogged them, I genuinely screamed at my TV when I saw Cowan get the ball. That was my favourite game of the year. I think this is a very, very popular one. Geelong round 15, Sam Crispino. Geelong round 15 was something special. Peppering away in that fourth quarter, it didn't stop, was unbelievable. Johnny agrees. Geelong's second game was best we played, but actually he said it's always good beating Essendon whenever we can, no matter the margin. Love that.
Exactly.
Love that. Doss, where's your tea, George? Lack of tea here, so come around. Appreciate your fine tea service.
Love you, Doss.
Hey,
Doss won a prize, didn't he? He won a beanie.
Yeah, Doss won a beanie at TJP live show, and he screamed the house down. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
The Con with a good call as well. Also, the first game against Port Adelaide and Adelaide. Oh, that fourth quarter.
Ooh.
Yes.
That fourth was sexy. That was a sexy quarter.
Yeah. Well coined. Let's go to favourite moment, and I'll kick it off because that was opening round, and I've sort of isolated it to second half opening round because you're right, at halftime in opening round, Collingwood fans, Essendon fans, and like I said, Carlton fans were messaging me saying, "What the hell are you doing? Go home. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your money." And we stayed silent.
Absolutely.
I'm like, nah, we've got this. But the comeback, the third quarter, Charlie gone ballistic, and the comeback and the siren at the end, it was probably, and we spoke about this many times, it was the loudest and the most I've been up and about since the semi last year.
Yeah.
It was something else, and sharing it with Carlton fans that had travelled, sharing it with Carlton fans from Brizzy.
I'll tell you what. If you haven't gone to an away game before, if you haven't travelled interstate to watch the team play, I can't recommend it enough. It is tribal. You're there with other Carlton fans. You've all travelled. When you see each other on the road, you're just like, go Baggers. You give each other one of those, and then getting a win, and a win like that was just special. It was just next level. I mean, my favorite moment was that, but I'll go to another one. I'm just going to show a picture here. Georgie took a photo of me, right? And this is where my favorite moments are. So if you have me on the socials, you know that I get really excited on my socials, and I have a lot of Collingwood, supporting people in my life, a lot of Essendon supporting people in my life, and they absolutely hammer me. They destroy us. And I like to let them know when we've won, when we've proved them wrong. And Georgie took a photo of me, absolutely losing my mind at my phone. And the message wrote, "Wouldn't be a comeback without Andy berating his phone. The greatest." After the Brisbane game and the Fremantle game, that Freo game in Adelaide gather round was wild. That finish was so confusing. It was what just happened. We didn't know. The siren went. It was great. We won. And I just unleashed. And I actually am not allowed to go live on Instagram, I think, ever again, because I've been banned. Actually, Instagram has actually banned me. I've used some vulgar language that they don't appreciate. So, yep.
And to be honest, I love that we're in sync, because that answer and that photo and that caption was the answer to a question I'm going to ask 2 questions away. So because I literally had on my note Andy berate phone just so I could remember it. Oh god, fantastic. But right there with you, away games, have the hostility of the home crowd, different surroundings, but the like you said, the tribalness. I think that's the best word that encapsulates it. just you see Carlton fans, you smile. There's a togetherness. There's a sense of camaraderie. Like it's camaraderie. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah,
and especially coming away with a win.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a few in the chat. Cam Bayer, probably say Mackay kicking the win opening round. Favorite moment. Lebowski, when we robbed Freo, the touch goal by Cottrell that made Freo hate Carlton more than Collingwood ever has.
Hey, we destroyed Freo's season. We absolutely destroyed Freo's season.
Yep.
I mean, with that and the way it finished at the end, just to rub salt in the wounds, they were celebrating us losing last week. They were celebrating. They thought they were home, the dogs. Now look, what are you doing this week, you dogs? They're watching us, mate. They're watching us. They're watching the baggers in finals. The dogs.
Oh, it's that was just think I forgot that. Obviously, they relied on us to lose, but it just makes it that sweeter gather round. So that's fantastic. Tracy Reed, interstate Carlton supporters always put on a good function. Absolutely. I have my flight booked for gather round 2025. Love that. There's always something going on. Carlton squad got a few things going on. No, I'm just reading Tracy's comment.
Oh, sorry. Good on you, Trace.
Love that.
Awesome. I thought I got upset. I'm like, what? You booking flights without me?
We always coordinate. So
heartbroken.
We always I think everyone gets it now with the footy cards and whatnot. We always coordinate things together and we G each other up together. And no plan is made for footy without each other's. Exactly. We got to throw it past each other. So, Morris, favorite moment, Cripper breakout last quarter moments against Port. Oh wow, the two goals, absolutely. And Lebowski, good call out. Remember to press that like button or hit the like button. We're on 45. There's about 80 people watching. Get it up there.
Get us to 60.
Get us to 60. Let's go with. We've only got a couple left. We're going to finish it off on a positive, but we will go to one more that reliving worst moments. So not talking about game or whatnot, but what was a moment for yourself, for the chat, where you just felt whatever it might be, helpless, down.
Last week.
Yuck. Yep.
Last week.
After the
Higgins kicks the goal.
Yeah.
And then, you think, all right, the idiot in you thinks there's still hope. There's 12 seconds left. We've still got time. And so, it didn't quite, it was hurting, but it didn't quite hit. And then the smother came and then the siren went. And then you're just like, and that, I hate that feeling. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And for me, that was the worst moment of the year for me. We were this close to making finals at that stage, and it was in our hands. We had it. And yours?
It's up there. It's right up there. And quickly, shout out to Oz. Thank you for the donation and your generosity as always. So I haven't gone to an interstate game yet, says Oz. Oz, I think next time we go,
do it, mate.
Let's hit up Oz. Let's get it. Let's give him the logistics. I reckon Oz, even if it's an Adelaide or a Sydney, next week against Sydney, GWS, maybe. You never know.
Yeah, we're going to Sydney next week anyway. Yeah.
Whoever,
if we drive Sydney, up, you can come in my tray. Put you in the tray.
Sydney, GWS, whoever it is, we're on. Worst moment. There's been a few, and I'm looking at the chat now, and I'll share a few of them shortly. But
I just read one comment.
Share it first. Let's share it first before I go to mine.
Because
Tony Tashi.
Yeah, I think that's Tony's first comment in the chat too.
Oh, I've seen Tony's couple times. Yeah. On you, Tony. The Hawks game.
Oh, that killed us as well. Yeah.
Hawks game broke me. Yeah, it jeez.
It was a funeral. It was an actual funeral. Yeah. We're watching a funeral.
That's right up there. I had probably 3 times. There's so many, right? There's we talk about the Owies miss kick against Adelaide. There's the
Dacos.
well, that was my Dacos, and then the McGovern. So the Pies losses and the way it happened. So just the feeling. So the first game when it was our home game, and then hearing the overwhelming Collingwood roar after he kicked it, followed by that sinking feeling. It was almost at the magnitude of the round 22. That one was disgusting. I don't want to think about that.
That's the one that broke me. That's the one that actually broke me in 2022. I don't feel anything the same since. Not just with footy, with life. Just with life.
Just a grey cloud hanging over your head. Honestly,
constant.
that was like I've knock on wood. I've never felt. A lot of people use mental health terms and whatnot, and obviously look after yourself and your mates. And there's a lot of help out there, whatnot. But I've never felt as low as after that game. Right? Share it. What have you got there, Lebowski? Oh, no. Andy did unleash against boys.
I did.
For his nail.
I did.
That was a great rant. It was. If you haven't watched the Carlton Hawthorn review, it is good watching. Get around it. Thank you for your support. So the Pies losses and the way it happened, the Dacos goal, and then the 1-8 to start the second game, Pies home game. And then McGovern after the siren. That wasn't as bad for me as the first one. It's still bad, but it wasn't as bad as the first one. But then there was also a feeling like I remember feeling so helpless against Port. It was so I remember looking around where we were sitting at Marvel, and you know how we were doing the same thing again and again and again, and just bombing it in and kicking it to the opposition and putting it down Leah Squared's throat. And there were people standing up and just like yelling, "Stop kicking it to him! Stop it!" Like people were genuinely crying out of like not just frustration; it was genuine hurt. Like I was just watching it unfold, and I've never felt that helpless, thinking, where the hell are we going to get our next goal? And that's when I started thinking, shit, like I'm a bit worried about this year. So that was one of the worst moments in terms of a feeling that I had that was a really sinking feeling. And there's been a few of those this year. It's there every week, unfortunately, some way, shape, form, or fashion.
There was a comment in the chat. I think it's this one. Yeah, the North game. Catrick. Yeah. So he's right there. And it's weird when you win a game, but you still feel a bit empty about it. So there was the North game that was, frustrating and all that, but I felt that in the Gold Coast game. I remember leaving the Gold Coast game, like, we won, but I remember feeling like that was shit. I felt like we played shit. We were playing the same, doing the same shit, and just kept kicking it to Mac Andrew. And yeah, I just remember afterwards really, and then, afterwards we went on that run. That was the beginning of our run. But after that game, like, I just thought, nah, we're not good. We're just not good. And yeah, we won the next 4 as well. And then, the rest is history, but yeah, weird.
It's been
strange. It's strange when you win a game and still feel empty. I know the feeling.
The slow and a continuous improvement as a Carlton fan is that thankfully we're actually winning some games now. Which is nice. But before it used to be,
thanks for the donation, Morris.
Morris.
That burnt me. That burnt me. That absolutely burnt me. That was straight after the Collingwood game. That was the next day, the first Collingwood game. Absolutely burnt me.
So Kerno posting the Rolex, and then I think there was another one after the second game was the clothing label launch.
Yeah.
Not the best timing. Not the best timing after a loss. And again, fans are going to say, look, what do you want them to do? They've got separate lives and things like that as well. But reading the room a little bit and showing your priorities. Look, it is just you're projecting about your life, I guess. And some players, it's a job for them, right? Like we can't shy away from that. But reading the room, I think a little bit more is important. Going to the chat, Lebowski, McGovern missing that goal when he was knocked out. Morris, Stakos last minute goal. Aiden being 30, I think we have more. It was like 39 points up against GWS. Yep. Catrick expected games to win, lost them all, especially against Collingwood. So yep, the famous last words, the easy run home. Rosa Baggers, Collingwood game when McGovern missed, got it. Absolutely. I think that was I remember everyone pulling out their phones to record and just the hype and whatnot. And John, McGovern's shank after coming back to end it that way. Lebowski, Hawthorn was the worst game since probably 2018. Good call, Tony Tachi. Yes. Geez, that was a bad one. Cam's gone 3. I'll rank them from bad to worse. 3, I was kicking the ground in Adelaide. Ground at the Adelaide game. 2, McGovern missed against Collingwood. 1, easily the Collingwood owner. Jack Higgins kicking the winner. Geez, that was... Yeah, like you said, I think after the siren, we were just sort of sitting there for 10, 15 minutes thinking, what the hell have we just witnessed? Oz, again, with the McGovern against Pies. Zach, Dacos goal, right fucking in front of me. They robbed me right in front of me. Yeah, that was shocker. So there's a few, and Nick Fury says, "Don't make me cry again, lads." I'm going to go to something a little bit more positive now.
Zach, that was a sour. That's a sour question.
All right, now I said I'd put that just so we can uplift it a little bit. Funniest moment, and I'll kick it off because great minds think alike. If you know Andy. Andy berating his phone, whether it be front-facing video call, whether it be Instagram Live, whatever it is, voice note, especially after a comeback or after a win against Collingwood and Essendon. Because one thing about Andy that I respect is that he doesn't get sucked in to a lot of the baiting that happens during the game and halftime and three-quarter time. And he'll absorb it, and then he'll hit you with the counter punch after the siren. And he'll fuck you up, right? And the funniest moment ever for me. There's been too many. There's been way too many, but I'll never forget.
I know exactly where you're going with this. I know exactly where you're going.
Outside the Gabba, I can't remember what the street's called. There was a corner of an intersection, and were we waiting? We're waiting for Omar, I think. No, I can't remember what we were having. We're
waiting for Omar.
We're waiting for Omar. And so Andy had gone on, I think it was Instagram Live at the time. And remember this, that for the whole game, we had been berated by opposition fans, by Brizzy fans, by Collingwood, Essendon, Richmond fans, by Carlton fans saying, "What you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, you dickheads." We'd gotten inboxes on the Monday Blues Instagram accounts. We'd copped it from pillar to post, and we'd stayed silent, and then we won in that fashion with Mackay kicking the winner. And Andy's at the end of the intersection with Instagram Live, and I can't repeat what he was saying.
On my personal account, by the way.
On his personal account, and this is the reason why Andy's banned from Instagram Live on his personal account. I can't repeat what he said, but
not a single word.
Not a single word. He was going that hard at his phone on Instagram Live, and the best thing ever was there was a car in front of us. It was a family. I think there was two young teenagers in the back, and one of the girls had winded down the window, and I'm trying to get Andy's attention, saying, "Mate, tone it down." Because there's people that had walked past, I call the police or whatever. It was Andy just ranting, right? It was just, they thought he was a deranged individual. But this young girl had listened to him say the whole rant. I'm standing there trying to be I'm trying to shun Andy a little bit away from the intersection, just go to the quieter part of the street. And this young girl had listened to him absolutely call every opposition fan, every name under the sun. And then he's just stopped, and he's regained his breath and his composure. And then she's like, "Nice speech." It was fantastic. And what was great was the red light lasted for almost your entire round.
The whole speech. They were there for the whole
speech.
thing.
And, she must have been, I don't know, it would have been like 415. And she just sort of stood there. She's like, yep, nice speech. It was, for me, it's not a comeback or a good win unless you break your phone for good reason, right? It's, and that's banter. That's footy, right? You dish it out, you're going to cop it back. And it's a laugh, right? It's footy. So,
yeah.
Aiden, I'm not going to mention what he said.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Shout out Morris. Thank you for the donation, sir. My best moments were going to games with Andy every week, posing for photos and signing Monday Blues merchandise like a true celeb.
Here we go.
I'll tell you what, car rides with Morris and him at the TJP event. Morris kills me. Morris kills me. Love you, mate.
My favorite moment. I was driving Morris back from the hospital after his hemorrhoids. He had severe hemorrhoids for anyone watching. He was absolutely cooked. The poor bloke was cooked for weeks, right? Take him to the hospital. They've, I don't know, stuck a few fingers up. They've worked out his hemorrhoids and we're on the way back. And he was high on drugs and he's just talking. And that was just hilarious to me. So Morris, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're feeling better, man. I'm glad the hemorrhoids are on their way out. They're not completely gone. They're kind of like herpes. They'll just come back, right? So you gotta keep monitoring your hemorrhoids, mate. Now, my favorite moment of the year for me, or the funniest moment for me, was me trying to go to the footy after my surgery. I was gone. I literally, my eyeball, they took my eyeball out of my eye. So I've still got my eye's still not, completely 100% open. That's why I use my phone. So I'm not actually I'm not texting or anything. I'm just reading your comments because I can't read the screen. Finish surgery, get home 4:30, kicking back. I don't know, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm high. I'm gone. I'm on that much tramadol. I'm on that much, God knows what else they gave me. And I'm just like, oh shit, I got to go to the footy. So I book an Uber, but I don't book an Uber to the footy. I book an Uber to the train station. I get to the train station. I've left my membership at home, so I've got no way to get in, right? And it's a home game, so there's no ticket. I'm at the train station, and I just walk in without tapping my phone or whatever, my mic key. And the PSO officer comes up to me, and he goes, "Are you all right, mate?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to the footy." I can't even remember, to be honest. I don't know, a bit of a conversation. Next thing I know, I'm just back at home. And the next day, I'll look at my, or a couple of days later, I'll look at my history, my Google history. And I was searching, is there a train that can pick me up from my address to the MCG? I wanted to go to that game. And I just remember watching it. And yeah, that was the funniest for me. Watching that game while out of my mind post-surgery, having a panic attack during those last few minutes. I don't know if I'm dying because of my surgery or I'm having a heart attack or the medication. This team was just giving me panic attacks. And for that's looking back, that was silly of me to even think of going to the game. But hey, got to be there. You know what I mean? Even my subconscious knows I got to be there.
You had a mini mattress on your eye. Your eyeball's literally just been taken out. It's a cold, rainy night in Melbourne. And I'll tell you what, if you rocked up to the G, because I remember messaging you saying, stay home. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I was coming. I was trying.
Yes, sicko. It was brilliant. Tell you what, if you rocked up to the G, that would have been one of the most immense efforts ever. But crack a moment, because the messages that you were sending were with one eye, and you were truly a one-eyed Carlton fan. That was the tagline.
I was.
Going to the chat, yes, my brother, Dorse Habibi, me spraying them at the Hawks game. So Dorse gave one of the most almighty sprayings, also the Collingwood game, I think, and everyone heard him, Voss heard him, but the Hawks game, a lot of agreeance. Some, this is when we were 10 goals down, and some fans are saying, "Oh, just get around the boys." It wasn't having any of it. And shout out
when she loses at him. She absolutely loses at him. He's like, "Leave me alone, I'm busy."
busy watching us absolutely get ran into the ground. But I'll tell you what, yeah, got to mention on TikTok. He was TikTok famous after that spray. And you know, a legitimate spray. Nothing that wasn't factual said. So, Cam Byer. Low key, the funniest moment of the season was TDK versus Sam DeConning. It was funny, big brother versus little brother. How about that throw before he got his goal? Like he just sort of threw Sam away, got it out of the ruck, kicked the goal. Great moment. John, funniest was George's face after Morris eating. He said, I know it's like humanoid cream, hemorrhoid cream, and him whistling. So a lot's made about me side-eyeing the chat and smirking. I can't keep a straight face. I find it very hard to keep a straight face. And you guys kill me in the chat. I bloody love you guys. Hit the like button.
Absolutely.
Zach. Oh, sorry.
Are we doing the same one? Or?
George's foam finger to help the hemorrhoids. I'll tell you what.
It's not big enough.
That one, but
It's not big enough. It's not big enough for Morris.
He's, you know, it was a shirt button to a dinner plate.
Oh, man.
If anyone's listened to Rodney Rude before, great comedian. Yes, though, a shout out to Zach. Freo game because I was so nervous. I was not nervous, and then all of a sudden we get 2 goals. And there's a great little YouTube short on our channel and our TikTok as well, and our Instagram of a Freo fan who, bit of a backstory was, there was a Carlton fan. He was an Italian guy. He was just berating Freo, and every time they touched the ball, he was narrating the game, and he was, every time that anyone touched the ball from Freo, he was just narrating, commentating on, you're a hack and this and that. And this older Freo fan was just sitting there and sort of like, yeah, mate, shut up. And he was baiting him, and he was staying patient, and he was impatient against the Carlton fan, but he'd had a few drinks, and he was relatively, you know, calm. But the final siren went, and he got up, and he was giving everyone the bird, flipping everyone off, yelling, screaming. Great video of that salty Freo fan on our socials. What have you found? You found something?
I was looking at that. I'm trying to see. That's all good.
Catrick, funniest moment, Collingwood back-to-back or lack of. Didn't make the 8.
Love it.
There from Cat. Yep.
Good.
Aiden, best moment was Andy's eye patch. Lebowski, shout out to hearing about the angry lady that sits behind you guys every week at the games. Haven't heard anything about her the last few weeks. She's behaving.
She actually, that one game, the Hawks game, she behaved quite well. That was good.
And that was the game that I thought, yeah, well, someone's maybe giving her the tap on the shoulder. It was, she's been quite good. She's been staying very quiet, I think, but she's a fucking nuisance, man. She was a nuisance. Like I'm tapped on the shoulder, getting dragged.
It's this that kills me. It's the tugging of the jumper. Yeah. Like, don't touch me.
Oz, funniest moment at the footy for me was hearing the opposition fans screaming behind me. I'm sure there's a few of those games.
Yep.
Aiden, I'm not going to share that one. I'm not going to share Aiden's second one. You're killing me, Aiden.
I can't see these.
And Dawson, I'm not going to share your one either. All right, I'm going to leave it. So, Morris, thank you for your donation, sir. Appreciate your support. The punch on outside gate 3 at MCG. Which one? Port Adelaide? Oh, no, I was thinking of the Port Adelaide.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
Thank you, Morris. Appreciate your generosity.
Don't encourage him.
Morris kills me. That's all I had. Honestly, that's all the question. We want to do something a little bit different today, and we'll do a full season review after our very successful final series. You know, we go round by round and talk about the 4 finals games we played and won. Something a little bit different. Thank you for bearing with us. Carl and Moose, and I know Mal was out, but Carl and Moose were 50-50. Come on, boys.
Shocking effort. Shocking effort by all 3. All 3 of them. Shocking.
Well, fair effort. We have we have lasted just over an hour and a half as well. 70 of you, it was about 80 plus before. Hit the like button if you haven't done so. Really appreciate you all. Big shout out, Ur. Thank you very much for your generosity, sir.
Good, absolute legend, mate.
BluesCrypto.com. As always, if you haven't checked them out yet, do yourself a favor. Jump on BluesCrypto.com. Passionate Carlton people, also about crypto as well. The man behind it there, the gentleman, Ur Koken. The fan token by Ur Koken, if you're a seasoned investor, if you're new to investing, if you want to dip your toe in the crypto market, it is so easy, by the way. We've all set up the Telegram. Jump into the Blues Crypto group. Ur will message you. There's a few different apps you can get for your digital wallet, but Soulflare is a good one. Jump on that, and you can get your tokens in next to no time. We've all done it. A lot of people have done it at the TJP live show on Saturday. Takes about 3 minutes.
Yep, took me 2 seconds.
There you go. So Ask Me Anything sessions on the Wednesday night, 9 p.m, where you can get around, or we'll go through any questions you might have. So, yeah, whether you want to dip your toe in or you're a seasoned investor, check out BluesCrypto.com. As always, thank you to Ur and the team at BluesCrypto.com. What have you seen there, Andy? What have I missed?
I'll tell you what. Pin that and show that to the boys.
Patrick.
I'll tell you what, Carl is also very consistent. Carl's got a legitimate reason to not be here tonight. But the other two, not sure.
Patrick goes whack. Sorry, my internet cut out there a sec, but I'm back. My internet is lacking as well. It's another one that's terrible. But thank you, Patrick. Try to revolve my life around the club and 9 p.m. or shall I say 9:02 or 9:03 p.m. On Monday and Thursday evenings. But appreciate the call out, sir. But Patrick says cop it in the mouth, Moose. Bang. So we'll announce on our socials the preview, whether we do it on, most likely it'll be on Wednesday.
I mean, Thursday there's a game on Thursday night.
Yep.
So we'll do it Wednesday without the teams, or we've got to work it out. Yeah,
we'll work it out. We'll let you guys know. It'll be Wednesday night or Thursday night. Keep an eye out on our YouTube. Keep an eye out for, if you haven't subscribed and enabled notifications, please do so, because you actually get the notification of when we're going live. It actually comes up. You get a little alert like an hour or half an hour before the stream. So hit the like button, hit subscribe, and enable notifications. So you actually get the, like I said, we are quite an unorganized potty. We like to drop in some random shows from time to time. So do subscribe and enable notifications. Wednesday or Thursday, preview for the Brizzy game. Cam, we'll jointly do it. Me and Andy are going to jointly do it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll shout out to it. Any final call outs, Andy?
No, it's good from my end. Hey, I'm just keen. I'm keen to get this week smashed out. Get to Saturday. If you're going to the game, G up. I'm so G'd up for the game, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I'm spewing I can't go. It's my sister's 30th birthday. I'm going to do the dirty step away from the birthday for a few hours without her knowing. She doesn't watch the podcast. She knows nothing about football. But I'm just letting you guys know that I'm actually sneaking out of my sister's 30th birthday party for 3 hours so I can go watch the game with the boys. And then I'll quickly sneak back in and see how we go. So keen.
It's this week's going to be, it's going to drag till Saturday. Honestly, I can't wait. And for whoever's traveling, if you're flying up, and geez, if you're brave enough to drive up, travel safe. Bring the noise. I don't want to remember that I booked the wrong day, Friday instead of Saturday. So anyway, bring the noise. Hopefully, we'll talk about it in the preview anyway. But really, really excited. Another one against Brizzy. All eyes on Doc. All eyes on the team selection. There's going to be a lot to play out between now and then. Have a great week ahead. We're in finals, man. September.
Absolutely. How good is it?
We're there.
We're in fucking finals, man. Hey, 5 o'clock or 5:30 last Sunday, we were in the dirt. We're in the mud.
In the
We're in
abyss.
finals. G up. We're there with a chance. Getting a few boys back. G up.
As always, huge thank you to the chat for getting around something that we organised only a few hours ago. So I really appreciate you all. Hit the like button on the way out if you haven't done so already. The chat's going off. Big thank you to BluesCrypto as well, our sponsor. Appreciate Wood and the team. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, Tracy. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tracy.
Georgie, you ready?
3, 2, 1.
Siki now.